throw in a little comment. In fact, you can use that chat function, and that'll make sure that I know also that I'm still live and you can still hear me throughout the show. So feel free to comment and chat throughout the show. All right, so let's get started. Again, for those of you that may not have seen me before, my name is Avi Wisnia, a singer, songwriter, and I'm coming to you live from my beautiful basement here in Philadelphia, which has now also become like my TV studio and my classroom and everything. And I am so grateful to be able to make music with you today. I'm going to start with a very, very famous song, a patriotic song written by one of our most prolific American songwriters. You may not know his given name, Israel Balin, but I'm sure you can guess, some of you can guess who it is. Do any of you know who Israel Balin turned out to be? The stage name turned into Irving Berlin. God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairies to the oceans wide with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home. I thought it would be a good way to kind of wake us up this morning, so feel free to sing along. God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairies to the oceans wide with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home. Now, this next song that I'm going to play for you is by a famous songwriter who is actually named after a sandwich. His name is Hoagie Carmichael. I don't know if his parents actually named him after the sandwich. You'd have to ask them that. But I do like sandwiches, and I am from Philly, so we call them hoagies. That's how it works. Hoagie Carmichael was born in 1899, right before the turn of the century. And he is famous for composing some of our most famous songs, Georgia on My Mind, Stardust, The Nearness of You, and of course my favorite in my life as a piano teacher for my students, Heart and Soul. But there's one song that's been covered by so many different artists, especially being here in Philly. If you're familiar with Boys to Men, they did a very famous rendition of this song. And the song is just timeless. And with so many of these songs that I'm going to play today, you'll hear that no matter what era they were in, they sound just as fresh and maybe even as relevant and as alive as they are from any era that they were written in. So here is from Hoagie Carmichael. In the still of the night, I held you tight, for I love you so. Promise I'll never let you go in the still of the night. In the still of the night, promise I'll never let you go in the still of the night. I remember that night in May, the stars were bright up above. I hope and I pray to keep your precious love. So before the light, hold me again with all of your might in the still of the night. That's right. In the still of the night, I held you tight, for I love you so. Promise I'll never let you go in the still of the night. I remember that night in May, the stars were bright up above. I hope and I pray to keep your precious love. So before the light, hold me again with all of your might in the still of the night. 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 Thank you out there. I see some of the applause on the screens. Thank you. I feel it. Even if I can't hear it, I feel it. Thank you. And of course, Mel, thank you for giving the shooby-doo-wops out there. Very, very important part of the song. So again, even though we're all muted, I hope you are singing along and bobbing your heads and enjoying these tunes here. And I hope that you do find them familiar. In fact, we spoke about in that first song, Irving Berlin, that Irving Berlin is actually a stage name for his given name, Israel Balin. Well, there's another famous Jewish songwriter, very, very famous, especially in the 60s, who also changed his name. Now, Avi is actually my name. It's not a stage name. Although, technically, it's not my given name. My full name is Avram. But since a young age, everybody called me Avi, and so I always answer to Avi, and if anybody calls me Avram, it takes me kind of a minute to realize that they're talking about me. But this songwriter, this Jewish songwriter whose next song I'm going to play, is originally called Robert Zimmerman. Now, do any of you know who Robert Zimmerman became? Bob Dylan. And so this next song is a very famous song by Bob Dylan, and it became really a civil rights anthem in the 60s. And again, it's one of these songs that is still relevant today. It poses a lot of the questions that ask us, is the work done yet to make the world a more perfect world? And especially in the Jewish community, we know this as tikkun olam, repairing the world, that it's always an ongoing project. And Bob Dylan originally wrote this song influenced by an old slave song. And he wrote this with the civil rights movement in mind at the time. And while there have been lots of advances, we still have a long way to go in our world for fixing all the things that go wrong and to improve the ways that we treat each other, one another in this world. So here's a song by Bob Dylan, posing us many questions, and the answers are as hard to grasp as if they were blowing in the wind. How many roads must a man walk down before you can call him a man? How many seas must a white dove sail before she sleeps in the sand? Yes, and how many times must the cannonballs fly before they are forever banned? The answer, my friends, is blowing in the wind. The answer is blowing in the wind. How many years can a mountain exist before it is washed out to sea? How many years can some people exist before they're allowed to be free? Yes, and how many times can a man turn his head and pretend that he just doesn't see? The answer, my friends, is blowing in the wind. The answer is blowing in the wind. Times can a man look up before you can see the sky? How many ears must one woman have before she can hear people cry? Yes, and how many deaths will it take till they know that too many people have died? The answer, my friends, is blowing in the wind. The answer is blowing in the wind. The answer, my friends, is blowing in the wind. The answer is blowing in the wind. Thank you. I always love that song, and I always love taking these songs and trying to find my own way into them as an artist and make them my own. So sometimes I like to play songs not as you expect them to be from the original artist, but with something new, and that's when we all sing songs that we are familiar with, we all breathe life into them. They take on a life far beyond what the songwriter imagined. And the next song kind of has that story. Many of our popular songs actually come from the stage, come from musicals, and then they happen to take on a life of their own that far outlasts the original show that they were a part of. And the next song I'm going to play for you is a romantic song, and it was written by one of our most famous songwriting duos, Lawrence Hart and Richard Rodgers. And Richard Rodgers was actually one of our very first people to become an EGOT. I don't know how many of you out there are familiar with what an EGOT is. So an EGOT, that word spelled E-G-O-T, an EGOT is somebody who has won all four of the major entertainment awards. EGOT standing for standing for the Oscar, Grammy, Tony, and Emmy. EGOT. And Richard Rodgers was the very first person to win an award in all of those mediums. And since then, we have EGOTs like Oprah Winfrey and John Legend, but Richard Rodgers, the songwriter, was one of the first. And in fact, most of our EGOTs are composers and songwriters who have written in all of these mediums. So Richard Rodgers became known for The Lady is a Tramp, Have You Met Miss Jones, My Funny Valentine. But here is a beautiful song by Richard Rodgers and Lawrence Hart, that was originally a ballad meant to stay in Broadway and became famous all on its own. Blue moon, you saw me standing alone, without a dream in my heart, without a love of my own. Blue moon, you knew just what I was there for. You heard me saying a prayer for someone I really could care for. And then there suddenly appeared before me the only one my arms could ever hold. I heard somebody whisper, please adore me. And when I looked at the moon, I turned to gold. Blue moon, now I'm no longer alone, without a dream in my heart, without a love of my own. Blue moon, you knew just what I was there for. You heard me saying a prayer for someone I really could care for. And then there suddenly appeared before me the only one my arms could hold. I heard somebody whisper, please adore me. And when I looked at the moon, I turned to gold. Blue moon, now I'm no longer alone, without a dream in my heart, without a love of my own. Blue moon, you saw me standing alone, without a dream in my heart, without a love of Thank you very much out there. This next song was written by Willie Nelson. Willie Nelson, born in 1933, a singer, songwriter, poet, actor, and activist. Willie Nelson wrote his first song at age 7. And Willie Nelson is known for lots and lots of songs, but maybe not this one so much as the woman who came to sing it and it became a signature of hers, and that is Patsy Cline. And Patsy Cline paved the way for female singers, not just in country, but in every genre, because she was really one of the first women to headline her own tour. It wasn't very common until she did it. She kind of broke down that barrier. So here is a song made famous by Patsy Cline, written by Willie Nelson. I'm crazy, crazy for feeling so lonely. I'm crazy, crazy for feeling so blue. I knew you'd love me as long as you wanted, and then someday you'll leave me for somebody new. Worry, why should I let myself worry? In the world did I do? I'm crazy for thinking my love could hold you. I'm crazy for trying and crazy for crying, and I'm crazy for loving you. I'm crazy for feeling so lonely. I'm crazy, crazy for feeling so blue. I knew you'd love me as long as you wanted, and then someday you'll leave me for somebody new. Worry, why should I let myself worry? Wondering, what in the world did I do? I'm crazy for thinking that my love could hold you. I'm crazy for trying and crazy for crying. I'm crazy for loving you. Crazy for trying and crazy for crying, and I'm crazy for loving you. Crazy for trying and crazy for crying, and I'm crazy for loving you. Thank you so much. Just gonna hydrate real quick. So if you have water or coffee or whatever you're drinking this morning, I don't know, it could be whiskey. I won't judge. I won't tell anybody. Whatever you're drinking, l'chaim. Now I did grow up in Yardley, right off of Edgewood Road. My father was a rabbi. He just retired recently after 42 years in Princeton Junction, New Jersey. But somewhere along the way, I fell in love with Brazilian bossa nova. And it just opened my eyes to a whole new world of music I was never exposed to growing up as a Jew in Jersey, you know. And it's music that I've carried with me to this day in everything that I write and in everything that I play. And it all stems from this one song, this quintessential bossa nova song to come out. Actually, it was written around 1958, but it became an international sensation around 1960, 1961, 1962. And what I love about it is that no matter where you are in the world, when you hear these chords and these rhythms, you are transported right to the beaches of Ipanema. So here is a song written by the wonderful Antonio Carlos Jobim, made famous by João Gilberto and the American saxophonist Stan Getz. A classic Brazilian tune, The Girl from Ipanema. So wherever you are today, let's all take a trip to Brazil, shall we? Tall and tan, and young and lovely, the girl from Ipanema goes walking, and when she passes, each one she passes goes. When she walks, it's like a samba that swings so cool and sways so gentle that when she passes, each one she passes goes. Oh, but I watch her so sadly. How can I tell her I love her? Yes, I would give my heart gladly. But each day when she walks to the sea, she looks straight ahead, not at me. Tall and tan and young and lovely, the girl from Ipanema goes walking in. When she passes, I smile, but she doesn't see. Olha que coisa mais linda, mais cheia de graça. Ela é menina que vem, que passa num doce balanço, o caminho do mar. Moça do corpo dourado, do sol de Ipanema, o seu balançado a mais que em poema, a coisa mais linda que eu já vi passar. That was not English, by the way. Oh, but I watch her so sadly. How can I tell her I love her? Yes, I will give my heart gladly. But each day when she walks to the sea, she looks straight ahead, not at me. Tall and tan and young and lovely, the girl from Ipanema goes walking in. When she passes, I smile, but she doesn't see. No, she doesn't see. No, she just doesn't see. She just doesn't see. Thank you. Of course, a Brazilian song I needed to sing a little bit in Portuguese. So if any of you out there speak Portuguese, hopefully my accent was just okay enough. In fact, after spending a lot of time studying music in New York City, where I moved after I was living in growing up in Bucks County, I spent time in New York, and I got to go on tour in Brazil. And I spent time in the cities of Sao Paulo and Salvador, and of course Rio de Janeiro, where the actual beach of Ipanema is located. And I got to make music with some wonderful Brazilian musicians who have become my very good friends. And in fact, I ended up being able to record with them via satellite from here in my house in Philadelphia, and them in their house in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. And I put out a single called Sky Blue Sky, which is a recording of mine that is now available online wherever music is sold. And it's a wonderful collaboration and really shows just how music can transcend all kinds of boundaries, right? Transcends languages and differences of opinion, that music is really the universal language. So we're going to continue with a song by a great singer and composer commonly known as the King of Soul, and that is Sam Cooke. And in fact, there was a story that Sam Cooke was actually jealous that Bob Dylan was the one that wrote Blowin' in the Wind. That Sam Cooke wishes he had written it himself, and he was mad that Bob Dylan got to it first. And that's the nature of songs, especially really good ones. Sometimes they're so good you just think it's like they've been around forever, or that they're so instrumental to the world we live in now that the world has always needed them. And I think Sam Cooke has written some of those songs himself. Some of those songs include A Change Is Gonna Come, Twistin' the Night Away, Bring It On Home to Me. But one of my favorites is the one that I'm going to play for you next, called You Send Me. And Sam Cooke left us way too early. He died at the age of 33. And we're so lucky that we got to have some of these great songs from Sam before he passed away. Darling, you send me. Darling, you send me. I know you send me. Honest you do, honest you do. Oh, you thrill me. I know you thrill me, darling. You thrill me, honest you do, honest you do. At first I thought it was just infatuation, but oh, it's lasted so long. But now I find myself wanting to marry you and take you home. Whoa, you send me. I know you send me, darling. You send me, honest you do. Oh, you thrill me. I know you thrill me, darling. You thrill me, honest you do, honest you do. At first I thought it was just infatuation, but oh, it's lasted so long. But now I find myself wanting to marry you and take you home. Sing it with me out there. Darling, you send me. Darling, you send me. I know you send me. Honest you do. Honest you do. Whoa, you send me. I know you send me. Honest you do. Honest you do. Honest you do. Thank you for singing along out there. All right, we had a songwriting duo. Here's another songwriting duo that were actually brothers. A really fun song, George and Ira Gershwin. I got music, I got rhythm, I got my man who could ask for anything more. I got daisies in green pastures, I got my man who could ask for anything more. Old man trouble, I don't mind him, you won't find him knocking on my door. I got starlight, I got sweet dreams, I got my man who can ask for anything more. Sing it with me, here we go. I got rhythm, I got music, I got my man who can ask for anything more. I got daisies in green pastures, I got my man who can ask for anything more. Starlight, I got sweet dreams, I got my man who could ask for anything more, who could ask for anything more. I got rhythm, I got music, I got my man who can ask for anything more. I got daisies in green pastures, I got my man who can ask for anything more. Old man trouble, I don't mind him, you won't find him hanging around my door. I got starlight, I got sweet dreams, I got my man who could ask for anything more. Who could ask for anything more? Thank you so much. Now, I grew up going to Jewish summer camp up in the Poconos. Perhaps some of you are familiar with Camp Harlem, Joseph and Betty Harlem. I went there pretty much every summer of my life, mostly because my father was a rabbi teaching up there. So he would bring me up as young as 6 months old. I was going to camp. And still to this day, some of my best friends in the world are those kids I went to camp with who are now grown up and having kids of their own and sending them off to camp. And it's really wonderful to see. And in fact, going to camp was one of the first places I really fell in love with making music with other people, realizing that, at services and at song sessions, that there was just a sea of harmony out there and just how much better it is when people made music together. And one of the songs that always stuck with me was a song that usually you would cry when you sing it kind of at the end of camp. You were leaving all your friends. But it really is an ode to friendship very much and being there for each other. And certainly during a pandemic, we're reminded just how much we rely on each other to get by and just how much we enjoy and appreciate other people's company, sometimes when we don't have it for a while. So here's a song that I always thought was written by James Taylor because I always knew his version of it. But of course, this song was originally written by his friend, Carole King. And Carole King actually wanted to put it on her album, and James Taylor wanted to put it on his album, and they ended up putting out albums at the same year, but Carole was such a good friend that she let James have the song also. And so they both had this song on the same album in the same year that it came out. Performed by James Taylor, written by Carole King. You've Got a Friend. When you're down and troubled and you need a helping hand, and nothing, oh nothing is going right, just close your eyes and think of me, and soon I will be there to brighten up even your darkest night. You just call out my name, and you'll know wherever I am, I'll come running to see you again. Winter, spring, summer, or fall, all you gotta do is call, and I'll be there, yes I will. You've got a friend. Above you should turn dark and full of clouds, and oh, that north wind should begin to blow. Just put your hands together, call my name out loud, soon I'll be knocking upon your door. You just call out my name, and you'll know wherever I am, I'll come running to see you again. Winter, spring, summer, or fall, all you gotta do is call, and I'll be there, yes I will. Hey, ain't it good to know you've got a friend? People can be so cold. They'll hurt you, yes, and desert you. They'll take your soul if you let them know. But don't you let them. You just call out my name, and you'll know wherever I am, I'll come running to see you again. You just call out my name, and you'll know wherever I am, I'll come running to see you again. Don't you know that winter, spring, summer, or fall, all you gotta do is call, and I'll be there, yes I will. You've got a friend. You've got a friend, yeah, yeah. You've got a friend. You've got a friend. Thank you, everybody, for singing along. Oh, thank you, Mel. So glad you enjoyed that one. It's really Always one that's near and dear to my heart. All right, well, let's see. We are nearing the end for you, and I've got just a couple more for you. And so I'd like to say before we go, first of all, thank you so much to Charlotte and to your whole community and your congregation for inviting me today. It is really I'm really honored that you invited me back. It was great to see you last year, and it's wonderful to reconnect with you. So thank you so much for singing along and enjoying the music. If you want to hear more of my music, you can go to my website, aviwisnia.com. And in fact, I'll drop it in the chat here. If you want a direct link, you can just click on it. I'm really excited. After a long time of isolation, I managed to actually finish a new album of original music. And that's actually, we just released it for pre-order. It's going to be out officially on November 5th, but you can start to hear some of the music, and you can put down, you can pre-order it. That will be out in November, and I'll be actually doing some live shows coming up later in the fall, hopefully as healthy and as safely as we can as things start to, open up a little bit more, hopefully. So I hope that you will stay in touch with me. You can sign my mailing list, and again, I'll put that link in the chat. And, I started making music classically when I was 5 years old. I would walk across my backyard in Yardley, and I would go take lessons from my piano teacher who lived just across the way, who was our neighbor. And that was such a wonderful experience. I'm still in touch with her. And now that I've been teaching piano during the pandemic, I called her up, my old piano teacher, and she was giving me tips on how to navigate this new virtual world of teaching. So I'm so grateful to all my teachers who encouraged me and led me down this path so that I am still able to make music in all the ways that I do now. So here's a song, a very popular song, made famous by Judy Garland. Of course, you can't think of this song and separate Judy Garland out of it. But she did not write the song. This song was written by Harold Arlen and Yip Harburg. And if those names don't sound familiar, I'm sure the song will sound familiar. But an interesting fact about Harold Arlen, who helped write the song, is that he is a son of a cantor. And me, as a son of a rabbi and the grandson of a cantor, I know what it's like to grow up with clergy. And so you can't help but get a little bit of Judaism and those ethics and morals kind of filter into your songs and the way you live your life. So here is a song by the son of a cantor. And see if you can hear some of that Jewish, some of the Jewish midot in this song, made famous by Judy Garland. From the famous Wizard of Oz. Somewhere over the rainbow, way up high, there's a land that I've heard of once in a lullaby. Somewhere over the rainbow, skies are blue, and the dreams that you dare to dream really do come true. Someday I'll wish upon a star and wake up where the clouds are far behind me, where troubles melt like lemon drops, oh, way above the chimney tops. That's where you find me. Somewhere over the rainbow, bluebirds fly, birds fly over the rainbow. Why then, oh, why can't I? Someday I'll wish upon a star and wake up where the clouds are far behind me, where troubles melt like lemon drops away above the chimney tops. That's where you'll find me, somewhere over the rainbow. Bluebirds fly, birds fly over the rainbow. Why then, oh why can't I? If happy little bluebirds fly beyond the rainbow, why, oh, why can't I? Thank you so much, everybody, for joining me today. Once again, my name is Avi Wisnia, and my piano teacher's name is Karen Solomon. Charlotte asked me. Thank you again, everybody. I'll leave my website in the
That's
chat.
what might have been. I knew her a long time ago when I worked at the Early Library. I haven't seen her in years.
Oh, wonderful. Yes, we still keep in touch. Beautiful. Well, thank you. I'll hand it back over to Charlotte now. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. On behalf of Michelle and myself and everybody on the call, we're just delighted to have you back. And thanks for a terrific show. Thank you. Now, if I can figure out how to unmute people, if anybody wants to schmooze. Let's see, anybody want to schmooze and I can maybe unmute you? Let's see. I just don't know how to do this.
That'll do the gallery, right?
Yeah. No, but you want to unmute everybody.
Right.
Okay, then can you maybe unmute your, let's see.
They can unmute themselves, Charlotte, I think.
Okay, thank you. I'm just trying to put on here, ask to unmute and anybody, in case anybody has any questions for Avi.
No.
No? Oh, thank you again.
All right. Well, thank you, everybody. Have a wonderful fall season. Chag Sameach, Shana Tova, a little belatedly as well. And I hope to see you all out in the world sometime soon as it's safe.
Thank you very much again. Great to see everybody.
Bye-bye. See you.